Heart of New Haven, Yale is one of the city's oldest institutions and one of the largest, with more than 20,000 students, faculty, and staff, and its own police force. But the mysterious and troubling disappearance of doctoral student Annie Lee, with intensive media coverage of the investigation, is most unwelcome publicity.
Annie Lee was born in San Jose, California, to a Vietnamese-American family. She displayed exceptional academic progress from a young age, earning her the nickname of the next Einstein among her peers. Through her hard work, Annie earned an impressive $160,000 in scholarship funds, enabling her to pursue her undergraduate studies in cell developmental biology at the University of Rochester in New York. During her time at the University of Rochester, Annie crossed paths with Jonathan Vadasky, and their connection quickly blossomed into a deep friendship. Before long, Jonathan took the significant step of proposing to Annie, sealing their bond and engagement. Friends marveled at their inseparable companionship. They were both looking forward for their wedding day on September 13, 2009. Annie Lee's academic journey led her to an incredible opportunity: acceptance into a prestigious graduate program at Yale University, paving the way for her to pursue a doctorate in pharmacology. This promising path prompted her to relocate to New Haven, Connecticut. The couple's commitment to each other endured, even though they were separated by approximately 80 miles, with Jonathan studying at Columbia University, New York. On September 8, 2009, Annie Lee was on the brink of an exciting new chapter in her life. Merely 5 days remained until her much-anticipated wedding. That day, she left her residence and boarded a Yale transit heading to the university. Her destination was her office room G13, where she diligently worked on her thesis. In addition to her academic pursuits, Annie was actively involved in laboratory research, showcasing her commitment to advancing her field and making meaningful contributions to the scientific community. As the day progressed, the university emptied out, but there was no trace of Annie. Annie had always been diligent about her safety, never one to venture alone in the late hours. She was known to call someone for a ride or ask for company if it got late, making her continued absence all the more concerning. At 9 p.m., her roommates reported her missing to the New Haven Police Department. Upon investigating her office in G13, Annie's purse, phone, and keys were neatly arranged, suggesting that she hadn't left with the intention of being away for long. There were no signs of a struggle, leading authorities to believe that Annie had entered the room with the intention of returning shortly. This left the question of her sudden disappearance even more confounding. The investigation deepened when it was discovered that Annie's student keycard was nowhere to be found. It was confirmed that she had used her own keycard to access the university that day. CCTV footage revealed Annie carrying what appeared to be materials related to her thesis. Her behavior seemed entirely routine, offering no obvious clues. The basement where Annie's lab was situated was equipped with only one camera. Unfortunately, this camera failed to capture any sign of Annie on the day she went missing. At 12:50 p.m. that fateful day, the alarm blared, prompting a swift evacuation of the university building. However, there was still no sign of Annie amidst the hurried exit. A lab technician named Ray, responsible for maintaining room G13, later came forward with a crucial observation. He claimed to have seen Annie in her room. He recalled a fleeting glimpse of her walking out of the building just before the alarm went off, but was not sure. The police conducted a thorough search of the entire university building, leaving no room unchecked, even extending their efforts to scouring the dumpster, indicating their grim readiness for the worst. They were determined to find any clues about Annie's disappearance. Even though Ray claimed Annie left the building, there was no CCTV footage of her leaving. Despite extensive efforts, Annie remained missing. Yale University announced a $10,000 reward for any information regarding her disappearance. Her parents and fiancé rushed to the university to join in the search. The disappearance of Yale student Annie garnered widespread attention, drawing reporters from across the campus. The mounting pressure prompted the police department to mobilize a force of 100 law enforcement officers to intensify the search efforts.
Authorities reportedly have discovered bloody clothing in the ceiling of the building. Published reports say the clothing is not Lee's. Investigators are also poring through garbage at a Hartford waste facility.
Missing student caused a notable stir amongst the student body.
Parents are calling in, checking, are you safe?
Well, I can't say that it's made me any more fearful, but I am aware that it has made others on campus fearful.
Any incident like this always brings up sort of the concerns about going to school in a university in a city. If it turns out this was foul play, or something like that, I think that's really going to shake a lot of people up.
Speculations arose that Annie may have left due to uncertainty about her upcoming wedding. However, her friends strongly denied this notion, emphasizing that she was exceedingly enthusiastic about her wedding. They recalled how she used to check the weather forecast for her wedding day, eager to ensure that everything would be absolutely perfect. During the second search, the police intensified their search of room G13. It was then that they made a startling discovery: a single drop of blood. Additionally, in the storage area, room 22, they came across beads that were confirmed to be from Annie's clothing. On the 12th of September, 4 days after Annie's disappearance, another meticulous search was conducted in her room, G13. Upon removing the ceiling tiles, investigators discovered a bloody sock and a single blue surgical glove. They then used luminol to detect more blood traces, which were also found in other rooms, including G22. Furthermore, a terrible smell coming from around room G22 in the nearby washroom area. Some officers sadly recognized this scent as that of a decomposing body. On Sunday, September 13th, the day Annie and Jonathan were to be married, officers from the Connecticut State Police entered the research lab with a team of bloodhounds. The dogs quickly detected the scent of a decomposing body. Within hours, investigators had uncovered the body of Annie Ballern. She had been stuffed into a wall shaft in Lab G22. Next to her body were a green ink pen, a stained lab coat, and a white sock that appeared to match the one found earlier in the search. An autopsy would reveal that Annie's cause of death was strangulation. She also had a broken jaw and a broken collarbone, and these injuries happened to her when she was alive. Evidences of sexual assault were also found. Annie's body was found lifeless on what should have been the happiest day of her life, the day she was set to marry her loving fiancé. The news sent shockwaves of sorrow not only through her immediate family, but also echoed through the hearts of her friends, peers, and the entire university community. The weight of the tragedy was felt deeply by those who knew and cherished her. The discovery of Annie's body kicked the investigation into high gear. The lab in which she'd been found was used to house research animals. It was a high-security area that was only accessible with a magnetic keycard. The dean of the Yale School of Medicine told reporters that it would be extremely difficult for a non-employee to get into the basement lab. Investigators quickly honed in on their top suspect, Raymond Clark, who had claimed that Annie had left the building. By tracking the use of his keycard, they were able to trace his movements on September 8th. In the weeks before Annie's death, Raymond accessed Lab G13 once and Lab G22 3 times. But on September 8th, he accessed G13 5 times and G22 11 times. In all, Raymond used his keycard in the building 55 times between 10:40 a.m. and 3:45 p.m. that day. If he had just been working through his daily assignments, he wouldn't have come close to that number. But even if Raymond had just been extra busy, the fact remained that his was the only keycard used to access Lab G22 on September 8th. Within days, investigators had obtained a warrant to collect DNA samples from Raymond Clark. Testing showed that the white socks had a mixture of Annie's and Raymond's DNA present. The green pen, blue scrubs, and Raymond's work boots all tested positive for Annie's blood. On September 17, 2009, police arrested Raymond Clark for the murder of Annie Allais. He was held on $3 million bail at a maximum security prison in Connecticut. Police noticed some scratches and bruises on his body, which he claims come from the cat. It was determined that it came from Annie when she was trying to defend herself. The motive behind Annie's tragic murder remained elusive. It was clear to investigators that Annie and Raymond did not share a romantic entanglement. Speculation among the investigative team were that Raymond harbored a secret and unhealthy obsession with Annie. Learning of her wedding, he may have acted with rage and jealousy. Annie's funeral was broadcasted online, allowing millions from around the world to come together in a collective outpouring of empathy and support for Annie's grieving loved ones.
Gone. Even now, Annie is gone, but I still have you and love you very much, like my son, Christopher.
I think that I speak on behalf of all of us gathered here when I say that I will never fully understand why this has happened, or what happened to my sister. But since those questions are beyond our understanding, I think it is best to consign ourselves to the will of God and put faith in providence.
On March 17, 2011, Raymond Clark pleaded guilty to felony murder and entered an Alford plea for attempted sexual assault. Raymond Clark was sentenced to 44 years in prison for felony murder and 20 years for attempted sexual assault to be served concurrently. He will be eligible for release in 2053.